All right, so forgive me. This is a little bit different than what I normally do. So I'm filming on the R6 Mark II. Got the 35mm on f1.8. That is unfortunately at the moment, other than this, the 24-70. That's the widest angle that I have currently. I could have put the 24-70 on, but I wanted to show what I've been using to do my tests. So before anybody comes at me, I am not technically sound. This is my first, like, I know it's not cinema grade, but this is probably the most professional video camera that I've ever used in my entire life. So I'm still trying to learn things like, you know, when I went from like regular recording to learning what log was and 10-bit and color correction and all that, it blew my mind. So, you know, I've been excited because I've never had a camera with a dual base ISO. I just really got into what ISO was for filming. You know, because I always knew that Canon for photography, the ISO is 100. You know, and you know, you have to bump it up depending on what your light situations are. Anyway, I'm not an expert. I just wanted to put that disclaimer out there. So, you know, this is the R6V body. I think everybody's pretty much seen. Oh, are you going to focus? Probably not. Okay. Well, this is the R6V body. Am I too close? I guess I'm too close. Maybe I'll have to punch in. That's the R6V body. And one of the things I love that I don't think people talk about enough is this jog wheel actually is now a D-pad. So you still have the joystick up here, which is pretty nice. But yeah, loving the camera so far, the extra buttons. The weight of it feels pretty good. Absolutely, it's heavier than what I was using before. So I got rid of my R50V. I got rid of my PowerShot V1. I got rid of a couple lenses just to be able to get this thing. And I had to leave myself with a couple of primes. So I left myself with the 35 that I'm filming on now, the 50, nifty 50, and the 85. And then, you know, this zoom lens. I know it's not like the best zoom lens in the world, but I'm on a budget, man. I'm just trying to live. So, the reason why I'm making this is because, you know, I think people being able to see what I've been using, you know, to film some of my tests. And again, they're tests. I'm just learning, like a lot of other people are just learning. So I'm just trying to show people what we're working with. And, you know, I understand that there's so many unboxing videos, people way smarter than me, but also to kind of explain why I use some of the stuff I use. So the reason why I went with the digital stabilization, and I didn't use the enhanced, so there's two different kinds of stabilization that Canon gives you the option to use. I'm going to pull up my menu here. So there's digital IS and, oh, I'm too close again. There's digital IS and then there's enhanced. Oh. There's digital IS and there's enhanced. So I went with the digital IS on instead of the enhanced when I filmed these. And the reason being is because this lens actually does have image stabilization. But when I use just the IS from the lens itself, I had the wobbles and warping, and I was really disappointed in that. So, you know, if you're going to turn off the stabilization, obviously you're going to need to use a gimbal to keep that steady smoothness, or you're going to have to walk like this. You know, nobody has time for that. I found that, you know, you get a little bit of a crop when you go to the digital stabilization, image stabilization. When it went to enhanced, like my 24mm basically turned into like, it felt like a 45 or a 50. So I was like, that's way too much. but it feels like it turned the 24 into almost a 30, maybe a 32, when I just used the digital image stabilization. And if you look back at the footage, it wasn't, you know, great, but it wasn't terrible either, in my opinion. I didn't have the wobbles anymore in the corners. I didn't do anything in post to crop anything. And I used a variety of, you know, lighting settings just to be able to kind of show off, you know, if you have the 800 or 6400 and you're not using the auto ISO, you know, how blown out or how unblown out it can be, or how dark it can be, you know. Is there a little bit of noise still in the dual base ISO? Yeah, you know, but I'm not so worried about it. It's way better than, you know, what I've used in the past. You know, if you look at the R6V, I'm used to an 800 base ISO for that, and for Canon cameras, for CLOG, and I was shocked to find out that CLOG 3 on the R6V, it has a base ISO of 400, which is wild to me. Even the PowerShot V1, which is not really a professional camera, that had a base ISO of 800. So the one thing I do want to let some people know, because it's hard to find information on it. So like the R6V, it has a really weird way of accessing the C-Log for filming. So one of the things I just want to show you guys really quick was, if you want to access your log, C-Log 1 and C-Log 3, C-Log 2 and C-Log 3, you actually have to go into the red menu, and then you have to go to page 4, and then it gives you the color profile. And then when you get here, it's a little confusing unless you read, and you know, I'm one of those guys who doesn't always read. You actually have to click this here in order to access your log profiles. And from there, you can access C-Log 2, C-Log 3, all that fun stuff, Canon 709, PQ. But I figured I'd put that out there just because I know some people struggle. I was used to it because of the R6V had the same exact procedure in order to access the log profiles. The other thing is, and I don't know if I can show you, maybe I can. Where'd my MacBook go? Oh, the other thing is, when you pull up those files, I'll just connect my so compared to like my R6 Mark II, you actually get a different folder than you would in normal Canon cameras. Even the PowerShot V1 didn't have this. So I think it's just limited to their V series. I've never used a cinema grade camera before, so I don't know if the Canon Cinema line does this too, but it creates another folder called XFVC, right? So in order to find your video files, because you're not going to be under DCIM like they normally are, you actually have to go into the XFVC Reels, right? And that's how you get your video files on the R6V, or I'm sorry, the R6V. But the R6V is the same way too. So it's something that I struggled with, and I feel like other people who are kind of new and trying to get into this might struggle with too. So I just wanted to put out a quick little hit to show people how to access that, because I probably spent a good couple hours wondering where the hell is my video file. The other thing is, depending on the way you shoot the file too, or you shoot the video, you may end up with not just MP4 files, but you may end up with text editor files as well, because I'm assuming, and again, I'm not an expert, but I'm guessing that text file is what the camera uses to convert your video and applies it the log profile to your video file, which is why it ends up in a different folder altogether. And I don't know why both V cameras, the 50 and the 6V, do that compared to like the R6 Mark II, R6 Mark III, even the PowerShot V1. Like I said, there's no XSFV file or folder, so I'm not sure why it does that. Maybe somebody who's more intelligent than me can explain in the comments. I'd love to know the science behind it. It's a minor annoyance, but once you get used to it, you're used to it. So yeah, that's just something I'm throwing out there. And I'm waiting for a 16 millimeter to come in, so that will give me a wide angle again as well. Kind of sucks because the 16 millimeter doesn't have image stabilization. It's kind of confusing because, you know, I thought it was designed for vlogging, and, you know, if you're a tripod kind of person, great, but if you're kind of moving around, you know, and you don't have image stabilization, well, it's not really doing for you, you know? So I'll be interested to see, so I'll do that test too. I'm interested to see how the 16 millimeter with no image stabilization, but digital IS on performs. You know, and gosh, if I have to do enhanced, that'll be turning my 16 into a 35, at which point I might as well just stick with the 35. So I'm hoping with the enhanced, it only moves it to like 22, maybe a 24, but it's an f2.8 versus that 4 that I'm, you know, working with right now. So, all right, well, I've been rambling a lot, but just wanted to kind of give an update. It's crazy because these are the most engaged and highest viewed videos that I have on my channel. So, but again, I'm not a tech guy. I don't know what I'm talking about sometimes. I don't pretend like I know. But yeah, good times, good times. All right, peace. Till the next one.